can do as parents is to give our children a set of values. Then when they have to make a choice between what's right and an easy victory, we can only hope that those values will guide them.
It was a little moral lesson every 22.5 minutes. And they were constructed that way.
It came to me all of a sudden, the most important person to like is yourself. Well, I know it doesn't sound very modest, but I kind of like myself the way I am.
When I watch this show, I kind of see these subtexts, you know, of her being a very strong woman, you know, feminist might be a little too strong, but there's always that there.
But, Your Honor, I don't care about the $2. All I care about is what's right. You see, it's a matter of principle. We have too many machines telling us what to do.
That's just what I said.
Quiet. There will be no more comments.
Our home life is not like it was on the show. She always looked beautiful, but she wasn't, you know, serving coffee and all of that kind of thing.
Well, don't move. Just cut holes in the paper so I can serve the eggs.
You know, I always say, and people look at me strange sometimes, that my mother was really ahead of her time. She was a working mom in the late 50s and early 60s when that was unusual. And so by watching the show, I learned what it was like to have a mom that stayed at home.
Mother, don't forget you have to pick me up to school this afternoon.
Well, she can't. She has to pick me up.
Well, Jeff! Well, let's see. I'll go shopping, pick up Jeff, take him to the No, that'll make me late.
Mother, I'm
Let's
late.
see. I'll go shopping, go to the dentist, take Jeff. No, that won't work either.
Why don't you drop the dentist to school and go bowling?
It was funny to me how people would say, oh, she's this or Donna's that, and she's not really, you know, 100%. And I'm thinking, do you have any idea who you're talking about? You will not find Donna in heels and pearls vacuuming. She's in jeans and she's got a scarf over her head and she's cleaning the house. Well, that's the way my granny and mom looked when they were cleaning the house. They didn't put pearls on.
Well, what about the episode where she teaches you how to box?
Another fun one.
Try to hit me.
Gee, Mom, I'm afraid I'll hurt you.
Oh, you can't. Come on.
Okay. That girl, Mom. That girl. Come on, Mom. Hit him.
You can't even touch me.
Sit down. You okay?
Fine. It was very good.
Oh, you little assassin.
You know, by the time I was 4 or 5, I was on the set. I had a great time, you know, goofing off with them. That was really fun. But sharing my mother with the world as a kid was most unpleasant. I'll be honest. It was very hard, and you know, the summertime people would drive by in cars and knock on the window, knock on the doors, ask for autographs. We'd always be in public. You know, my mother never refused an autograph. She was always very gracious.
You know, at the end of the day, when you think about it, next to Lucille Ball, Donna was the most successful and powerful woman in Hollywood. She had her own show. She's making grand theft dough, as we say. and look, she was no cupcake. After the Donna Reed show, remember, she was one of the principals behind Another Mother for Peace. And I heard wonderful stories from people who were in the room. When she went after Henry Kissinger, she did this. She pinned him to the wall. You're killing my children.
Well, nobody's arguing. Donna's wonderful.
You should see her with the children. Never raises her voice and never screams at them.
Any mother who can get through a day with children without exploding is a saint.
Well, of course, I don't believe in screaming. A rubber hose is just as effective and it doesn't leave any marks.
She was, at the core, an Iowa farm girl. Remember, she was the oldest of 5 children from a little town in Iowa who came to Hollywood to hit the big time. And she paid a terrible price for not being fully prepared when she made this transition. So she paid her dues. Believe me, she paid her dues. And that opportunity to finally get the contract at MGM and really learn her craft at what could only be called the university of production, that's what MGM was. She really learned, and she became a star, but it was a wrapping around this really decent Iowa gal who could sit and talk to my mom, also from Iowa. They'd sit down, have coffee, and just visit. And it's just so, we see so many of them year after year in her hometown to this day.
I think I'll tear down the ping pong table and erect a shrine.
Well, I'm glad you're beginning to appreciate me.
Studios definitely typecast her as a goody-good. That's why she was, you know, so excited to get the From Here to Eternity role.
I wouldn't be unhappy if people said nice things about me.
Oh, it could happen. But you must remember, Kate, everybody can't be as sweet as Donna.
They gave her more goody-goody roles after that, and that's one of the reasons why she and my father decided to veer into television, because she wasn't feeling satisfied with it. You know, they were putting her in B westerns.
There are women and there are women.
What's the difference?
Night and day. A pounding drum or a violin. Do you know what I always say to the missus about you?
I'm almost afraid to ask.
I said if the house burned down, worse yet, if your husband ran off with another woman, you'd still have a smile on your face.
Alex, when people pour on compliments like hot fudge, they're insincere.
Darling, you're going to hate me for this, but suppose I were to tell you that you're an intelligent mother, you're an understanding wife, and a sweet, wonderful person.
You wouldn't dare.
She was very involved with the show, reading scripts. You know, my father was the producer. He was involved, you know, they were involved with the cast, with the crew. Paul and Shelley were definitely, you know, my siblings, but so was everyone else. The crew, you know,
Right.
hair and makeup, Trudy, Clay.
The people who were doing the show were extremely gifted and experienced people in the entertainment business. The man who created the show, William Roberts, was already an Academy Award-winning writer. He did a little thing called Magnificent Seven. Okay, so Jackie Cooper would direct the episodes. Jack Lemmon's Harvard roommate, Andy McCullough, was our director. Oscar Rudolph, who won a series of Emmys, was the director. Gene Reynolds, who won a bunch of Emmys for MASH.
I'd also like to say that Ida Lupino directed at least
that's
one
right.
episode.
Sure. We had multiracial stories. We had abandoned triplets. We had stories of drug addiction and alcoholism. And Donna was always pushing. And I can tell you that she often had to withstand some pretty significant pressure from both ABC and Campbell Soup when we had pushed the envelope.
And now for that news about Campbell's special offer. You can get 4 beautiful bone white soup mugs or soup bowls just like these. They're both of classic design.
In our era, corporations owned the time. And we worked, at the end of the day, for Campbell Soup. Campbell Soup had one other show on the air, Lassie. And our job, when you look at commercial television, was to deliver the audience that would go to the supermarket and buy Campbell Soup, soup and sandwich. We introduced Swanson Frozen Foods on the show. There was a purpose. And the good part about having a corporate sponsor is they were responsible. It wasn't like the networks today, which have a scarcity of time, so they hold corporations hostage if they want to buy time on the networks. Corporations dictated the terms of the show. So if you have a good sponsor, and Campbell Soup is an institution, hey, not so far away in Camden, New Jersey, and if you had quality people crafting the product, you know what you got? You got the Donna Reed Show.
The Donna Reed Show has been brought to you by Campbell's Soups, Franco-American Spaghettis, and Campbell's Beans.
The pace, by today's standards, was quite leisurely. We rehearsed on the first cold reading on a Friday. Everybody chewed the script over and said, oh, this is horrible and the jokes don't work, blah, 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 and then the poor writers had to work over the weekend. Then we came back on Monday and reread the script with the changes, put it up on its feet, blocked everything out, all the scenes, and the next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we filmed the show. So the pace really wasn't difficult. The truth was Donna wanted to be home for dinner with the kids, and we managed that every night. 5 o'clock, we were done.
What was that? It sounded like glass breaking.
Sounded like a broken window.
That's what it was. The window in my room.
Oh, Mother, if you only knew what a burden he is.
I was a handful. Thank God Donna Reed was not only the star, but the boss, because her word was law.
Jeff, if you can't hold your temper, you better not play.
Well, I certainly don't want to play with that thing. Well, that goes double for me.
Mary and Jeff, if you...
She never lost her temper. I don't know how she did that. I think Shelley and I both told people the angriest I think I ever saw her, she stamped her foot.
You don't get out there this instant and do as I ask.
Like Paul said, you didn't see her angry much, but when she did get mad, watch out.
Yeah.
And not towards us so much, but when things, didn't go right, she had an incredible temper and was very firm and got her way.
Mac.
Yes, Mrs. Stone?
I really need that dress tonight. I want it delivered today.
Well, like I told you, I'd have to make a special trip.
Mac, I'm sorry, I want that dress today.
Well, you're the customer, but I gotta tell you, Mrs. Stone, you're not like this.
I know, but I'm going to be.
All right, take it all back. You're a mean, ill-tempered, nagging, petulant shrew.
Thank you.
You know, Mom, every once in a while you get all worked up about something. But I gotta hand it to you, you always snap out of it.
If events on the set had gotten out of hand, you'd sort of see this quiet presence drift into the set, and whoever was arguing stopped. If somebody said something about me going to school, oh, here are the kids slowing down production again, gotta go to school, they were gone the next day. You didn't say stuff like that. And how lucky I was. Melissa Gilbert and I talk about this all the time. She had Michael, thank you. Michael Landon, who would stop production for school events. And I had Donna Reed, who would do the same. How lucky we were.
Would you mind explaining this report card to me?
It's all very simple, Dad. You see, this row here is my subjects, arithmetic, spelling, geography, and this row here is my marks.
Yeah, I figured out that much, but how do you explain these C's?
Well, it says right here on the bottom, C means average.
Are you satisfied with these grades?
Well, sure, Dad. You want me to be normal, don't you?
Dear, there's a difference between average and normal.
There is? Well, I got a B+ in gym.
Jeff, average means ordinary, like being part of a lump with no outstanding characteristics.
Gee, Mom, you don't want me to stick out like a freak, do you? See you later.
Alex, I always think of you as so practical somehow.
Maybe there's a side of me you don't know.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so very much.
Sure.
Tony Owen, Donna's then husband, he was a man's man with a rough voice who loved sports and had, big time friends. And then here's Carl Betts from Carnegie Mellon, who won the Carnegie, actually he shared the Carnegie Award with Robert Ludlum, the author. A gifted actor, Shakespearean trained, and an artist, and very different than Tony.
Tell me, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Well, you see, I left the farm when I was 18, and I met this man.
Ah, the old story. City slicker, huh?
No, he was a country bumpkin like myself. We fell in love, got married, and lived happily ever after. So far.
I had these two images of men in my life, in addition to my own dad, of course, at home. Carl was an artist, soft and gentle and kind of confused about physical things,
That's a nice way of putting it.
Well, it was difficult for Carl to talk and hold a prop at the same time. which it was my endless amusement. Steady work for an actor is a blessing. And Carl, not only did he go out after work and do things like Kraft's Last Tape or the Zoo Story at the Writers Guild Theater, we all went to see him because we couldn't believe that the guy who couldn't open the door would be up on the stage dealing with knives and swords and things. On my 14th birthday, he gave me the complete works of Shakespeare. Now, this is a big book, right? And Carl would have his spaghetti and a beer at lunch at the place called Naples. And he would read scenes with me. Now, I've got the book open on the table, a checkered tablecloth, reading it, and he knew it all from memory. And when I came to words that I didn't understand, or words that were, well, they were ancient words. These were 500-year-old words. He would explain them to me. And he would do this around a mouthful of spaghetti and sipping a beer.
Jeff, why don't you do the number for your dad? We'll back you up, won't we, fellas?
Sure.
I can't.
I think he'd like to hear it.
He isn't much in the eyes of the world. He never made history. No, he isn't much in the eyes of the world, but he is the world to me. My dad. Now here is a man. To me, he is everything strong. No, he can't do wrong. My dad. My dad. Now he understands. When I bring him troubles to share, oh, he's always there, my dad. When I was small, I fell 10 feet tall. When I walked by his side, and everyone would say, that's his son, and my heart would burst with pride. My dad. Oh, I loved him so. And I only hope that someday my own sons will say, my dad. Now there was a
Mother, do you have a handkerchief? For heaven's sake, Mary, this is supposed to be a happy moment.
Just around the corner was the actual home of the Nelsons, and I was friends with Ricky Nelson and a huge fan. He helped invent rock and roll. They had brought us Stu Phillips in from New York, and we had the writers from the Brill Building. People don't know this, I played first chair trombone in the Junior Philharmonic at LA. I love music. And don't go by tonight, but I used to sing pretty good too. So it was an honor to be in the room with these people. And we did this stuff with the full orchestra there, people like Hal Blaine, and Glenn Campbell was the lead guitarist, and Stu Phillips leading the group. And they were making wonderful music, and we'd do like 4 songs in 3 hours. And I always walked out of there and said, they're all going to be hits. It was a treat. And I think Shelley didn't like to go out on the road, whereas I enjoyed going out on the road. So I got to see the impact of the music. And I'm proud to say that I'm still very close with Barry and Cynthia and their daughter, who works with our organization, and with Stu Phillips.
Mother, I wish you'd do something about that son of yours.
Oh, honey, I wish you'd have a little more patience with that brother of yours.
Well, how could you and Daddy raise something like that? Are you up here squealing on me again? Oh, Mother, he has the vocabulary of a gangster.
Oh, we scrapped like crazy. No, but we would look. I got a lot of black eyes defending Shelley's honor. We're brothers and sisters, you know. To be a television brother after 51 years is a distinction without a difference. Shelley is my sister. She signs her letters to me number 3, because I have 2 blood sisters. And I'm Brother Paul. That's the way it's been since 1958.
Night, sweetheart.
Sleep tight.
No.
Jeff!
I never touched her.
Just his way of saying goodnight.
Can't they love each other the way we love them?
Well, how did you get along with your younger brother?
Oh, Mother, if you only knew what a burden he is.
Hi, Mary. May I have the stands?
It's him! Alive! In person!
When skies are cloudy and gray, they're only gray for a day. So
by the time these people came to the set, I had heard every show business story about them.
leave your troubles away.
I was in awe. And Estelle Winwood, she had to work with a mouse. No problem.
Handsome little fella. Oh, you found Herman. Gee, thanks. I've been worried about him.
Margaret Dumont.
Well, I like to think I'm doing my bit.
These were people who even the crew brought autograph books and were in reverential tones.
Come in.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
Buster Keaton played a hospital fix-it man, and they wanted him to do a bit.
So you're Santa Claus.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Stone. No, I'm not Santa Claus. I'm just a helper.
So they asked him, how do you want the setup? And he said, well, he'd have a basement, it'd be full of things, put in ladders and broken dolls and things like that, and just turn the camera on and I'll do something. So now, a Mitchell camera holds 1,000 feet of film, that's 9 minutes. They put the camera in the exact center of the room and tied it off, and our cinematographer, Gert Anderson, turned the on switch, and Buster Keaton did 9 minutes in that room. And all he had asked for was the 30-second signal. When you see it, it is classic. All the physical shtick and the humor and the pathos. And when he was done, now our crew was about 60 people. There were 400 people on the other side of the camera because everybody on the lot came down to see it. That's what it was like to work with him.
You're going to play Santa Claus.
Who, me?
Yes,
No,
you.
look, I've never done it.
Oh, you've played it for 32 years without a suit.
No, I wouldn't be any good at it.
You'd be wonderful, Charlie.
Look, the head nurse would be a better Santa Claus
Charlie,
than
you're
I
too
am.
modest.
Oh, I'm not modest. I'm not big enough.
Charlie, you're the biggest man I know.
Look.
Now you hurry and get ready and I'll be back as soon as I can.
I spent more time with them than with my blood family. And as my mother, we were on the Montel Williams show. She said the most honest thing I frankly have ever heard her say. She said, Montel, how could I compete with Donna Reed? I mean, think about that. I had this smart movie star lady, and I'm telling you, at work I called her mom. I called her mom. And in public, I called her Miss Reed. And I called her Miss Reed until I was 26, 5 years after the show was off the air. And she had to say to me, Paul, I think it's time you started calling me Donna. But that's, how do you explain that to people? I didn't mind calling her Miss Reed because she was a star and the boss. But on the set, it was Mom all day. Just her personal legacy is important, and what she left on film is a treasure. It celebrates moms, great moms.
Donna?
To get anywhere in this man's world, you've got to learn to be charming.
I love you, Mother. I'm so lucky to have a mother as sweet as you.
How do you like my map of the world?
Beautiful. That's just beautiful. Why don't we ever fight?
What?
Why don't we ever fight?
Darling, why has fighting suddenly become synonymous with great love?
When you handle yourself, use your head. When you handle others, use your heart.
Just remember that sunshine always follows the rain. So wrap your troubles in dreams and dream your troubles away.